Earth energy was popping. This is a reading for Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We are in Gemini season, so shout out your favorite Geminis. Say hello to them, shout them out, say what's up. Make sure you check out the other readings I just did about what today is day 3. I'm doing readings. I don't know what's going on, but I'm back on the grind. So make sure you check out the other readings I posted a couple of days ago. I posted some yesterday and the day before. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All right, that way you'll know when I post. All right, I'm gonna start being a little bit more active on the channel. So let's see what we got going on for the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn natives. Somebody moving. All right, I'm getting somebody moving. Somebody unpacking right now. Ooh, I ain't jealous, but again, I am. I was just talking to a woman yesterday, as a matter of fact, who just signed on her house. Her and her partner, they signed on the house, and they was really happy about it. I'm outside of my place right now, and it's a big ass truck out here. I don't know if you hear all that noise, but you know when you see them big trucks, somebody moving. So yeah, people moving. All right. Uh, let's see what we got going on. Let's see. Earth energy. I just did air sign reading. Okay. So check that out. But yeah, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. Leave a comment if it resonates with you. All right. Make sure you hit that like button, please. All right. Support the channel. We appreciate you. We're going to get 5 cards out for the Earth sign energy. See what's going on with them. Messages for the Earth collective. First card out, 3 of Swords. That showed up in the air sign reading too. All right. Okay, we got the Page of Swords. Saturn in reverse. Okay. We got the 2 cards we need. Let's get it moving. 3 of Swords. Page of Swords. The World in reverse, which is Saturn energy. The Fool in reverse, which is Uranus energy. And the 2 of Wands in reverse. Okay. Make sure this is straight. My camera is weird. All right. I think that's good. I'm just looking at the other. Okay. Is that good? Anyway, okay, so there, I feel like you can see everything. I'm seeing it on the other camera here. But let me move this over. Okay. All right. So I think that's good. Yeah, that should be all right. Should be all right, y'all. Forgive me. With the camera. But okay. So 3 of Swords, Page of Swords, World in reverse, Fool in reverse, 2 of Wands in reverse. So okay. I know something okay. Let me see. Okay. Earth energy. What I'm getting here from these cards is that Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. I'm getting is it. I don't know if this is you or somebody you're dealing with, but I feel like you done try. The first thing I was gonna say when I said 3, I was saying 3 because it's the 3 of Swords. I feel like you done tried on multiple occasions, or this person or people or thing or idea has shown you on multiple occasions that it's not for you. Okay, it's not for you. But I feel like what may have happened is some information may have been provided, and it's like, yo, I can't get this no matter what I try to do. It's not working. And because you didn't do your research, you didn't check what you were supposed to check, you didn't do your due diligence here. It's like somebody filled out some paperwork trying to get something, but they didn't do their due diligence. It's like you trying to apply for a business, right? The first thing you got to do is you got to go to the state website and you got to come up with a business name first. The first thing you got to do is go to the state site, right? And look up that name if somebody has it. Well, I feel like You didn't do that. You may have just applied for the application with the name, and then you get a reply back that is denied. You can't get your LLC because you didn't take the time to do the due diligence to see if somebody else had this name or a variation of it. Something like that. Okay. Because we're dealing with a lot of sword energy here, and we're dealing with rules and regulations with world energy in reverse. The fool energy is here in reverse too. You know, that's just doing whatever and not realizing what you was doing. And this is why with the two of wand in reverse, you didn't get nowhere. So it's like you're not doing your research on something. You're not looking at things the way you're supposed to look at it. You know, you jumping into something, whatever it is, and you're not doing the due diligence or the research that you need to do to get where you need to go. And maybe that's why you're not doing what you need to do. You're not getting where you need to get. You're not getting the results you want to get. So I feel like somebody's world could just be turned upside down by this, or, you know, they just can't figure it out. It's like, yo, everything is at a halt. You can't move forward because of this. Let's get some more clarity. Right now, where's Saturn at? Saturn is in Pisces right now. No, it's in Aries. Okay. Some people associate Aries with the Fool. I personally associate it with Uranus. But, you know, if we're dealing with Saturn in Aries, um, Saturn deals with restrictions and boundaries, where Aries is like an energy of the self, you know, nurturing the self, taking care of the self, um, doing things for self. What is it about? You know, what's in it for me, right? What's in it for me? And somebody was not looking out you. I don't know if somebody wasn't looking out for your best interest, or somebody may have considered you being selfish, not being concerned about everybody else, just doing what it is you want to do, or maybe this is how somebody um, feels about you. All right, but let's see. We got a lot of Libra and Saturn energy here. All right, so dealing. Okay, so the origin. So how did this begin? Again, the original part of it, the origin came out in on the air in the air sign reading as well. So I feel like the way you began something, the way you started something may have been off key. It could have been like, okay, maybe there's, you know how you meet someone. First impressions are everything, right? In reference to how you communicate with someone. Like people gonna look at you and judge regardless. But when they have an interaction with you, a direct interaction with you, that's where the real impression comes in. And I feel like, you know, maybe you rub somebody the wrong way when you met them. And so ever since then, they just been feeling some way about you. All right. Or maybe this is how you deal with people, like they rubbed you the wrong way. And now you're just like, I don't know. But you didn't take the time to get to know this person or this situation. All right. Or they didn't take the time to get to know you with the Page of Swords. I feel like that is part of the issue too. Somebody just jumped to conclusions, is what I'm getting here. Family. Okay. It's clarifying Page of Swords. So I don't know if someone jumped into a relationship and began a family with someone without really understanding the implications of what's going on, or you're dealing with someone that may have kids with somebody else. And it's like, okay, well, you know, this person is cool. I've been in different relationships and, you know, things didn't work out. I need to do my due diligence from now on and investigate people, because they could have relationships with other people because they have children with other people, and they could still be involved intimately with these people. You know, so it's like I need to figure out where I fit in, and if that's even something I want. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that could be going on as well. But I feel like somebody is like, I feel like you jumped in, Earth, because this is the placement for you. And that's the Fool in reverse. Either you jumped in, or you're like, yo, I see where this is going. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna just jump in head over heels without doing my investigation into this person's background, into their family, to see what's going on with them. I want to know, okay, they've been through these breakups. They had three different relationships. They broke up with three different people. I want to know, I want to know more about that. I want to know how that began, how that started. Or the conflict, because there's conflict here. How did the conflict begin? How did it occur? And I feel like something may have something to do with somebody's family upbringing, or it has something to do with someone's family is involved in the business. Like Your family's in our business. This is an old school song called Your Mom's in My Business by K Solo. Like, I'm getting that your family or your mom is, or somebody's mom is in y'all business. Let's get some more energy out here. World energy in reverse with the overwhelmed. This is Saturn here. Overwhelmed. Yeah, it's like something is just going on and on and on. It won't stop with the world energy in reverse. There's no boundaries here. So as a result, you're feeling overwhelmed about this. I feel like somebody's family is just constantly in the mix, constantly in the business. And maybe you didn't realize this before you got into this relationship with this person. It don't necessarily have to be their family. It could be their community, whoever supports them or whoever they're around and they rely on and they break bread with and things like that. That could be what their family, who their family is, right? And I just feel like you may have not realized what was going on. Like, I don't know if somebody came at somebody and thought that somebody didn't have family. That's another thing I'm getting. Somebody may have came at somebody and thought somebody didn't have family, didn't have backing. So they basically is just like, yo, this person ain't got nobody. I'm gonna go ahead and overwhelm them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do what I want or what have you, right? But it's like I feel like somebody's trying to play someone because they feel like somebody don't have no other options. Like, for example, how you'll have a person, they'll get into a relationship and they'll slowly separate you from your family, slowly separate you from whomever, or they'll target you because they know that they think you don't have family, they think you don't have backup, they think you don't have a support system. So it's like you don't have no place else to go. So like if you living with this person, they may be feeling like they could act a certain way towards you because you don't got no family. You also got energy here of somebody who maybe didn't grow up with a strong family background. Okay, I'm getting foster care. And so this person may have a lot of traumas from growing up in that environment. And so, they may be jumping into relationships or jumping into situations because they're looking for that family structure. They're looking for that connection because they didn't have that. Yeah, protest. So okay, so you could just be like, look, that's not an excuse. You can't behave that way just because you was raised like that. Like some people, that's my family. That's how we get down. And it's like, yo, that could be your family, but you don't just because you like think for yourself. Like this could be somebody who like, say there's a woman who's dealing with a dude who's abusive to her and she called her people and her people come and, pound dude out. And then next week or in 2 weeks, she back with dude again. And they get into argument and now she provoking shit because she knows she got family. So, they come and pound dude out again. And then they get like, it's a cycle. And it's just like, look, your family could be telling you, look, I'm not going to keep coming over here pounding dude out when you just going to get back with him. Like you putting our lives in jeopardy. You putting his life in jeopardy because, somebody could not walk away from this. Like you got to do something about this. Right. So maybe somebody's telling you, we're not dealing with this no more. You're going to keep dealing with this person. You're going to keep dealing with this individual. It could be friends. They doing you dirty. You mad at them. You tell your family what's going on. Because, in-laws is like outlaws. It's a famous saying. It's like, stop telling your family your intricate details of your friendships and your relationships. Because when you fall off with these people, your family is like, yo, okay, we not fucking with them neither. And then when you get back with old dude or old girl or home peoples, you get back with them. Now your family is looking at them all crazy. And treating them all crazy. Now you can't bring them to family events, so you gotta nip it in the bud. Stop talking so much. Stop telling people your business. Learn to work things out with yourself. And a lot of this happens because a lot of people they need validation. They don't have enough they don't have enough. I have the word. I don't know why the truck outside just threw me off. But people don't have enough belief in themselves. They're not secure in themselves to make an informed decision for themselves without going to people. Now, yeah, you got advice columns and people who are there for advice and things like that. Yeah, that's cool if you need it. But a lot of times you don't need it. You just maybe need affirmation that you doing the right thing. And that's what I'm getting for somebody here. So with the 2 of Wands energy in reverse, somebody is like, keep going back to the same situation thinking that you're going to get different results. You're going to get in the same thing. Yeah, gift. The gift in the situation is walking away with the Two of Wands in reverse, not using that as an option. Oh, well, it's either going to be this way or this way. Well, how about it's no way? How about we just end it altogether and then we just don't deal with it anymore because it's not going anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? So, it could be a situation here where somebody could be purposely also another thing I'm getting is somebody's purposely bringing up like I'm getting gaslighting here. Like there's somebody who, for example, you could be in a relationship with this person and they know that you have problems with your family. They know this with the Page of Swords and family. You've confided in them and told them what was going on with you and your family situation, right? So whenever you and this person get into a beef or argument, they want to turn around and bring up, oh well, see, that's the same thing you was telling me about with your family. Now I see that you the problem, and then that's that gaslighting bullshit, right? So it's like you trying to move on from that, but this person won't let you move on from that. They want to constantly try to, somebody's gaslighting somebody, okay? And until you stand up with the fool and protest, until you stand up to this person and let them know that's not going down, with the Two of Wands in reverse and gift. So this person could be trying to come back around, like I was saying, with the in-laws, like is out like outlaws. You done broke up with this person. Now they want to come back and bring a gift and start all over. it's, it's wild. This is wild. Let me get a little bit more info on this here. We have the Page of Cup energy in reverse. Yeah, see, somebody hasn't dealt with their childhood issues. Or this person is playing on your childhood issues with the Page of Cup energy in reverse. All right. This is somebody purposely playing on your emotions, especially with that Three of Swords there. That's Saturn and Libra. So it's how you relate and socialize with people. But with the Saturn there, it's like, okay, what you dealt with it. Saturn is also an energy of you growing, right? And then Saturn is in reverse here. Somebody hasn't gotten over it. So this person could be triggering you, or you could be triggering someone's childhood issues, which is why they act the way they act. Because of the way they was raised with the family energy and the Page of Swords. You know how this person was raised. Yeah. So you separated yourself from this. The challenge is somebody has to be independent from the family dynamic. You can't keep bringing your family into, you got to learn to stand on your own. This is for somebody. Or don't use the fact that, okay, well, I didn't have a decent family upbringing. I may have grown up in foster care, but I learned to take care of myself and provide for myself. And now you're dealing with people who, maybe triggering you because maybe you didn't heal completely. Or on the flip side, you met someone and you told them about what you've been through and they're trying to knock your independence. Because that's the challenge here, is the family, the independence, and the Page of Swords. So for some of you, also what's going on is you could be separating from family. Because this is the way the family was. This is how it was. You're separating yourself from it. You're branching away from those childhood wounds, the way you was raised, how they do things, what was normal. Sometimes we don't realize that we was in abnormal family dynamics until we get out into the world, move away from, the people and the environment that we grew up in and see how the world work. And it's just like, oh, okay. So that was a bit dysfunctional. All right. Well, I understand that. Okay. Well, how is that affecting me now? How does that affect my relationships? How does that affect how I move? Is it hindering me in any type of way? And then you do your process from there. So I feel like for some of you, that's what's going on because you haven't learned the lesson with Saturn reverse. You haven't learned that childhood lesson. You're overwhelmed by it. You're overwhelmed by it. So, or like I said, somebody's trying to gaslight you because they know of your childhood wounds. So this could be a parent who's doing this to you. Okay, trying to gaslight you and play games with you. All right, because they know who you are. They know how to manipulate you, how to get you to do whatever it is, and you're putting your foot down with the protest in Uranus in reverse. Yeah, somebody don't want to let you grow up. This could be somebody who don't want to let their child grow up and become independent with the Page of Cup energy in reverse. It's like their child is trying to learn on their own and do on their own. This is like the type of person who'll be like, The child will be like, well, the mother or the father would tell the child, hey, go do blah, blah, blah. Child could even finish saying what this, don't talk back to me. Just do what I told you. But why? Da, da, da? Instead of you explaining to the child, this is why, because we have this to do, and this is that, and that, and this, and you need to learn, blah, blah, blah. Don't ask me nothing. Just do what I tell you to do. Stay in a child place. Right? Instead of explaining to the child, people don't realize that they fucking up their child's social and development skills. Because now when they grow up and they meet people, they walking around with that wound, like not to ask nothing, not to say nothing, or not to expect an explanation for people's behavior. So now they get into relationships with people and they scared to ask people about their behavior. Like, yo, why are you talking to me like this? And then the person will gaslight them and they'll just go with it because that's what they was trained to do as an adult. So somebody is not understanding that, or somebody is now getting to understand that. Okay. Very important. And look at the fool upright, the fool in reverse, the protest, and the fool upright. So somebody is protesting the behavior that they experienced as a child. Could have been favoritism here because it could be more than one child, and one child was treated unfairly. So I just feel like there's some childhood issues, things that started with the family, and somebody has come into independence now, and they realize that this is what was holding them back, or in order to come into independence, they have to deal with their childhood wounds. And the best thing to do with the Two of Wands in reverse and the gift, the best thing for this person is to walk away from that environment. I'm not telling people to walk away from your family, but I'm telling you, if you're not being respected and you're not being treated fairly and your feelings are not, being valued, you're not being valued as a human being, and you're staying around just because, oh, that's my husband, or oh, that's my wife, or, you got a grown ass kid in your house and they not respecting you, and oh, that's just my child, or, you still dealing with family wounds from the way that your family members treated you. And you just like, well, that's just them. And the shit is wrong. And it's hard for you to get over it because you're not learning that. Some of you, it's hard for you to get over it because for whatever reason, you may be afraid to lose, because the fool is afraid. All right. The fool in reverse is afraid. They're afraid to stand up for themselves. They're afraid to protest. Okay. But for some of you, you're getting over that now. That's why the fool came out upright. And that's the best thing you could do for yourself, is walk away from that environment, walk away from that situation. So for some people, they need to walk away because they ain't going to change. Look at that. This is stress, aggravation, gaslighting. I can't make it up. So it's a relation. So, if this is something that happened in your childhood and you didn't heal that wound, you're going to grow up and attract people who gaslight you. Like, it's very simple how it started. The real simple things that you do to your child when you shut them off when they're trying to ask questions. Don't worry about that. No. It's like, you may get tired and frustrated because they like, well, why? Well, why? Well, why? But that's part of childhood. They need to know so that they can start formulating their own thought. Like, they can start formulating critical thinking skills. This is how you fuck that critical thinking skill development up. Don't worry about it. Just do what I tell you to do. Now, some things it's like, put those shoes on instead of those. Well, why? I want to put on my favorite shoes because we going out in the mud and you're not going to mess up those shoes. I done paid a lot of money for those shoes. So you're not going to put those shoes on. You're going to put your play shoes on. Go get your play shoes and put your play shoes on. You're not putting your brand new church shoes or your brand new, private school shoes on to go play football. You're not doing that. So explain it to them so that they understand. Oh, okay. So these are the shoes I play in. These are the shoes. So then maybe you're not around and they got to get dressed and they're like, okay, well, what are we doing today? Are we playing today? Okay, mommy said these are my play shoes. So I'm going to put on my play shoes. You know what I'm saying? That's critical thinking. You're helping them develop critical thinking. Now, when they get an adult and you shutting them down like that, if somebody's not treating them right, somebody not treating them fair, and they don't understand why, they got to figure out, well, why can't you, what's going on? Why am I allowing this to happen? Why is this person treating me this way? Why am I allowing them to do it? Because I got unhealed childhood wounds. Okay. What's this gift? Tell me about this gift. That's one too many, but okay, let's just take it. We got the title card in reverse and the 9 of Swords in reverse. Okay, see the gift. See, you let go of that contract. You ended that contract. And the 9 of Swords in reverse, now you know what I mean? You healed, you moved on. Now you went to a new journey. Some of you have moved away, you relocated. Okay, remember I was saying in the beginning, somebody moving. So you could have moved mentally as well. Mentally and spiritually, you moved away from that timeline. Because your childhood is a different timeline. It's a different life, right? So your childhood could be a past life of yours. You know what I'm saying? That's a reality. Your childhood is your past life. So for some of you, you healing past life wounds here with this. Okay, and that's what's up. Tell me about this fool. Yeah, the Two of Pentacles, learning how to balance. It's like, yeah, okay, that was my past, but this is who I am now, right? And learning how to balance the past with the present, right? And your emotions, the waters in the background, being grounded. Yeah, that's what I dealt with. That is a fact, okay? Because Pentacles deal with reality, all right? Yeah, that is a reality. That's how I was raised. But you know what? That is, who I am. It's a part of me, but I'm also somebody else, and I'm evolving into someone new with the Fool energy. And I've learned to balance my emotions with the water in the background. All right, that's what I'm getting with that. Earth energy. Let's see what else we got. Fail. So for some of you, you may be wondering with that Three of Swords energy, that's that fail energy. Why are my relationships failing? Why am I failing with friendships? Why am I failing with getting along with my colleagues at work? Like, what'll happen is when you get to this point where you got to realize, okay, every area of my life is screwy. Okay, I'm having problems with relationships as far as my family members. I'm having problems with my friends, socializing and dealing with people at work, and I'm having problem with uh, 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 relationships. So that's three areas of your life with that Three of Swords, with that Saturn and Libra. It's like I'm a people pleaser. Saturn, you got to be careful with Libra. Libra on the negative side could be a people pleaser. And that's why Saturn is there to let you know you went too far. You did too much for this person and now you're heartbroken. You did too much for these people. You did way more than you were supposed to. And now you're heartbroken. That's why you upside down, right? And you got to look at the beginning of that. Where did that begin? How did that start? Why did you start doing that? Right? Because everything else is failing. All your relationships are failing. So you got to look at why that is. I had to do it myself. You know what I'm saying? When everything in your life is going to shit, that's when you realize that you got to look at the common denominator. And that's tough to do because you are the common denominator. If it's one thing that I could tell you, my life experience in 53 years I've been living on this planet, I used to be a people pleaser. All of my areas of my life were fucked up and I couldn't understand why. And it was because of me. I'm sitting here too busy trying to get people's approval, trying to get people's validation. Then you get to the point where you break the fuck down and you realize, yo, I don't understand why this is going on. Why am I overwhelmed? Why is nothing ever coming to fruition and moving forward for me? Why am I never getting where I need to get and where I need to go? It's because you in that damn Fool energy in reverse. You just doing and doing without thinking. You just hopping in the shit. You can't do that. You got to stop with the protest energy, understand what's right, what's wrong, speak up, and then get right and get aligned. And then that's when you'll be able to balance everything and things will come into play. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it works. It's easier said than done. It's easy to explain it, but the process is, it's challenging. Yeah, it's work. It's work. It definitely is. It takes some work and what you was raised and what you was accustomed to, traditions and values. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That is so true on so many levels. If you train a child not to have critical thinking skills, they're gonna grow up and not have critical thinking skills until they get their ass smashed up against a wall and they ain't got no choice. They got to start developing critical thinking skills or they will lose their fucking mind. So sometimes these traditions that we learn are not, traditions that are conducive to a healthy psyche. And it's nobody's responsibility to fix you. It's your responsibility to fix you. And then you may wonder why people don't like fucking with you. They don't want to be around you. That type of thing as well. Like if you got that type of thing or you got people around you who are abusing you, it's one or the other. You either got people around you who are taking advantage of you. They don't give a fuck about your feelings. They're not taking you into consideration. Or you got people around you who are abusing you verbally, mentally, shit, I don't know, physically for some. If you got this going on in more than one area of your life, you are a people pleaser, and you got to put your foot down and stop being a people pleaser. But you got to understand where that comes from first. That's the only way you're going to get past it. Accept the fact that, okay, yeah, I was bullied as a child, or yeah, my parent was one of those parents who were very strict. I didn't get to really express my thoughts or my feelings. They used to tell me to shut up and just do what I was told to do. And so I didn't develop critical thinking skills the way I needed to. And as a result, I've been in situations where I've been gaslit. And now I'm overwhelmed and I'm about to have a nervous fucking breakdown, and I don't understand why. People be crashing out a lot of times because of the childhood wounds that have not healed. And everything, if you've not healed, people that you meet are going to reflect to you that you're not healed. It's just the way life works. Masked, hiding, concealing, and deception. So like I said, for some of y'all meet people who, and look at this, the Shadow King is right here on this deck right here. I didn't even get to that deck yet, but that's the card that's popping up. Some of y'all, if you are a masculine and this is what you're going through, you might be in your shadow energy. You may be acting out. You're getting frustrated because things are not going your way. So you start acting out. That's not going to do nothing but bring you even more negative karma with the Saturn energy in reverse. And then the Eight of Swords. Some of y'all might end up going to jail or may have had to do jail time because you crashed out. You don't understand why. A lot of it had to do with your origins. You got to sit down and examine yourself or get to the point where you don't crash out. Okay. Somebody could be purposely trying to fuck with you because they know what's going on. I'm just, now I'm getting the energy with this jail thing here. I don't know if somebody's trying to get somebody in trouble or somebody, okay. Somebody could be wondering why their child is in prison, or somebody could be in prison and just looking back at their life. Because that's where that fail could come in. Okay. Somebody could be having problems getting work because they had a jail stint. Okay. It could be a lot going on because of someone's childhood issues and the way they were raised. Now, the masked energy, hiding, concealing, and deception. Some of you may have resulted to that because of what you learned and how you were growing up. So, that energy could turn negative. Maybe you're not the one who's being shitted on and gaslit. Maybe you're the one who's doing it to people. So predator could turn prey. If you don't heal yourself, that could happen. Okay. So somebody not knowing who they truly are and what they bring to the table and what they really want, or somebody's disguising themselves because you're trying to people please and you're not really looking at this person for who they are. Then we have wishful thinking, second chance, deja vu, nostalgia. Now somebody may want to come back around to you who did you dirty. All right. And you may have to, or maybe you're like, oh, well, damn, I wish things were this way, or I wish things, yeah, you can have wishful thinking, but you can't go back. Oh, I wish I grew up in a different family. Or I wish I didn't have the background that I had. Okay, yeah, that's cool, but it ain't nothing you could do about that but learn the lessons from everything, right? Learn a lesson. Find out what the lesson was in it and try to attach, especially if it's on your mind constantly with that Eight of Swords, try to attach a positive thought to it so that every time it comes to your mind, you program yourself, okay? Because that Eight of Swords could be you programming your mind. You got to program your mental. Programming yourself to look at the lesson in it and to look at the joy that came out of it. Well, look at where I am today, or I'm better off today, or I had to go through that so that I could get to the point where I could start doing something about it. Some of you are getting a second chance. Maybe you're getting released from jail, or your child is getting released from jail, or you're getting a second leash on life, or a second leash on a relationship, or what have you. Maybe somebody's forgiven you and now y'all can move on. But until then, you're going to be in this stagnant energy, stuck, dead zone, frozen. That's what this is right here. The world, overload, and Eight of Swords. Stagnant energy. And so until that energy is fixed or looked at or resolved, you could have all the wishful thinking in the world, but if you're not putting in the work, that work right there, it's not going to work out with the fail energy. The gutless card came out on this deck underneath. Some people are afraid. They're afraid of something new. They're afraid of something different. That's what that That fool energy in reverse is too gutless. You got to be brave to be the fool, to be able to embark on new ventures, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or physically. All right. Some people need to move away from their home environment in order for them to evolve. Hello, I'm one of them. I grew up in a very small town, and it's the small minded energy, and I had to get away, to understand. Okay, this is not how it is. That's how you was raised, and that's what you experienced. But there's other ways to look at things. Open up so that gives you the opportunity to start thinking, wishful thinking. Okay, second chance, deja vu, nostalgia. Now you have a new lease on life. That's the fool in reverse to the fool upright. New lease on life, looking at things from a different perspective. Uranus is the fool energy, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. All right, Mercury is how you communicate, how you your thought process, and how you look at things, your perception, how you see things. That critical thinking. The higher octave of thinking is critical thinking. That's Uranus energy. All right, so some of y'all are tapping into that, and you're realizing that this is what I got to do. I got to do things differently. Uranus is Aquarius, doing something different, doing something innovative, doing something new you ain't never done before. Maybe nobody else has did it, but so what? If it worked for you, it worked for you. Do whatever you got to do. You get on, you fall down, get back up. Yeah, artist, being creative. Some of you may need to express yourself creatively in some way, shape, or form, helping you to channel that energy. That wounded child is not going to go nowhere. That wounded child is going to be with you for life. What you want to do is you want to go where that wounded child is within you and talk to that wounded child. Understand the positive, not the positives and the negatives, but understand the strengths and the weakness of that wounded child. Understand them and learn when to use them in life. There's a place where you can use that energy. Maybe you use it to create, right? Maybe you use it to meditate with wishful thinking. Okay? For some of you, that energy is stagnant in you, and you got to do something with it in order for it to work for you. Any wound or anything that you've been through, if you transform and transmute that energy, you can use it for something beneficial for you. Okay? If you got an angry child inside of you, angry as fuck all the time, maybe working out will help you. So you're able to let that child unleash. That child got to come out and unleash. You got to treat that child. That child is a microcosm of you. Right? And when we talk about family, every part of you, like internally, right? This is you as an individual. For you to be whole and complete and independent, that inner family in you, this could be, your happy side, your sad side, your good, your whatever side, okay? All of these are facets of you. You got to communicate with every facet of you. You can't just communicate with the mom and the dad and don't communicate with the little chill up child in you. That little child is not getting any love or support, or that child gonna run all over the place. You got to sit down and talk to that inner child. Get them in line. Discipline them. You know what I'm saying? And that way you will be a whole individual. Like, that's real talk. For those who get it, you get it. We got a hot nerd. Okay, that Uranus energy is intelligence. Okay, for some of you, you grew up in an environment where, like I said, that critical thinking skills, people looked at you or talked to you, or they didn't tap into you because, some people, how can I say this? I'm not trying to be disrespectful to no one, but some people didn't do well in school, right? And they may have children who have intelligence, and they dumb that shit down on that child because they don't understand that the child is inquisitive, because your child is intelligent as fuck. And because they don't have the answers, or they just frustrated because they just not academically, because they're academically challenged, they don't understand that particular need in that child. So you have to get away from that environment, that family environment, and then you get out into the world and you start reading and tapping into the shit you really want to tap into. And then you become this hot nerd. You intelligent, you smart, and you look good. You well-rounded. This is who this Nine of Pentacle energy is. Okay? Don't let people. I remember somebody said something. I was riding with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, look at those flowers. Such and such of them used to live there. I used to go to school with him. He was always really quiet and weird. Oh, he was always really weird." And I'm like, "Why you call him weird?" Because he was always quiet to himself. And I knew right then and there I was talking to a back of the bus motherfucker. Like, you know, them people that be in the back of the bus causing mayhem, causing right. They don't want to learn in school. And you simply talking about this dude is weird because he was quiet and kept to himself. He was quiet and kept to himself because he can't relate to you. Don't think that people quiet and keep to themselves and they smart, they scared, and no, they just can't relate to your ass. You're not on the same frequency as them. Leave them the fuck alone. I was one of them kids. I know what that is. I know that. And I'm weird or I'm soft because I keep to myself because I like to read. Come on, man. Back of the bus shit. Straight up. Yeah, dancer. Some of you, dancing might help you. You know, there's different ways that you can express yourself. So through artistry, whatever artistry you like, maybe you like painting. I love painting. I love it. You know, maybe you read a lot, you know, and maybe dance is also another way you can express yourself, that inner child, tap into that child. All right. Whatever dancing you like to do, and it don't have to be these things. You could be other things that you like to do. Kickboxing, uh, you know, hang gliding. Maybe you like to ride skateboards. I don't know, whatever you like to do. Whatever you like to do. I looked at these already, didn't I? All right, let's look at the love and then we'll wrap this up, Earth energy. Acceptance. Everything happens for a reason. So this is part of your healing journey. It's like I said, when those ugly thoughts about what you went through in the past come up, look at the lesson. Here go the card on top here on this deck. Live and learn. All right? Live and learn. It's like, okay, that happened to me. Yeah, that was fucked up. But you know what I learned from that about myself? I learned blah, blah, blah. And as a result, now I'm blah, 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 right? Attach that, brain, train your brain. Every time you think about that negative shit, you look at what you learned and how you benefited from that particular lesson. And that's going to help you to stop being so hurt. You know, because a lot of y'all just sitting and hurt and you're just thinking about that fucked up situation over and over and over again. And you trapped. You trapped. The only way to get out is to change your perspective. The Eight of Swords. The only way to get out, that's Mercury energy, is to change how you look at things. Change your perspective. That's the only way. Everything is mental. Wait, the timing is not quite right. Some of y'all not ready to be in relationships yet. Like I said, friendships, things like that. You're wondering why they're not working out. Because you got to work on that part of yourself. You got to at least acknowledge, yeah, I'm hurt. Yeah, this happened to me and it fucked me up. If you could get to that part, then you could eventually work your way around to attaching a positive thought or looking at the lesson in it and attaching a positive thought to that every time it comes to your mind. So maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe you need to take some time off. And then we got marriage here. Relationship is moving towards a sacred union. So for some of you, you could be in a relationship right now and you're like, okay, or maybe you broke up with him, or maybe your marriage is over. Maybe you had 3 failed marriages and you don't understand why. It could be because you had some unresolved childhood wounds that needed to be healed. And now you're sitting down and you're figuring out what needs to be done. The timing is not quite right. You're accepting what's going on with you, and then you'll be ready for your partner once you do that. And now once you do that, you'll attract a higher vibrational partner because now you're on a higher vibration because you're not just emitting that pain that you've been experiencing. You give off energy, whether you realize it or not. You know, it's like, I think about it like this. You know, the little sci-fi, not the little sci-fi, but you know, the little wireless symbol, the line with the dot and the, you know what I'm saying? We all have one of those, like our aura to me is that. It represents that. Like we give off signals, frequencies. And your frequency can pick up my frequency before I even open my mouth to you or you open your mouth to me. So you're giving off a frequency. You understand? And if you constantly, walking around with that pain that's unhealed, you're giving off that frequency. You're sending out a radar. I'm in pain. I'm in pain. So what you going to attract? You're going to either attract manipulators or you're going to attract other people who are in pain with you. And y'all going to trauma bond. You're going to have to come out of that thought process and look for something different. Okay? You're going to have to. You're going to have to, because that's the only way you're going to begin your healing process. Earth energy, I hope you got something out of this. I wish you the best. I'll see you in the next reading. Deuces.